Okay, well, I guess I'll start with a quick recap of last week because I tried to stream. Some of you might have come in and noticed me completely failing to stream. I was stuck in work, tried doing it in my car, but turns out you can't stream through Twitch and read Shonen Jump on your phone at the same time. So that is why there was no stream, no upload to YouTube last week. Completely abandoned the idea. Thoughts on last week's chapter? What happened last week again? We started with war, I think. Oh yeah, of course. Well, part of a sketch I'm explaining today had the war bit. I know it ended with Julia. Maybe there was a bit. Oh yeah, Soul beating everyone up, and of course the one moment I really regret not having on camera is my reaction to Ichigo saving the day, grabbing Soul by the leg. It is a damn shame that I didn't record my reaction to that because even without the cameras, I freaked out at that one. So today's sketch is a big one. This is a really good sketch. This is the kind of sketch that I had in mind when I started doing this whole talking about the sketch before the chapter thing. This is actually a big one. So just to move it around and remind myself exactly what is said here. So, it's Billy and Teller. They are cowering from war. I don't think I can zoom in with Streamlabs, but yeah, war is in the background there, saying, "Where are you?" kind of thing. So they're just talking like, "Oh, Teller, what's that thing in your throat?" Good question to ask. Probably should have asked it sooner, to be completely honest. And Teller explains that it is probably the quest reward that they got earlier, Silent Voice. And he says that the lab members just all of a sudden put it in his throat, and now he's able to talk. It seems that it uses the voice of the heart, not the literal artifact heart, but like his heart or his soul, and that is why it's able to speak. Another important part of how it bypasses Untel seemingly is it does not matter if Teller wants to say the thing or not, he will say it. And he says, "Oh, if I have insults in my head, they're just gonna slip out. There's nothing I can do." And Billy says, "What kind of insults? You're not a guy who insults people." And then he says, what's the exact quote? Yeah, like, "Won't you stop being so obsessed with revolvers? They're a pain to reload." And Billy's just, huh? It is cute. Also, it says that he uses this to amplify his soundwave attacks with his machines. Because he's had those before. The soundwave blasts aren't part of the artifact, they're just technology. But they are amplified with this new Silent Voice. Anyway, time to actually start the chapter. Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, Sandstreak. Oh, yeah. Undead Unjustice. This feels like it is going to be the exact chapter we were hoping to have like 3 weeks ago. Right? With the Julia. Like, this feels like what we were expecting. And the title, Undead Unjustice. Brilliant looking start. I love it. So she's literally going into the Victor hole. Is this the inside of Victor's soul? Fragments of memories. They're getting more concrete the deeper down I go. At the very depths is where Victor lies. Okay, we've got one flashback. Not sure exactly what that is. Maybe that's them sleeping. Maybe that's them after a fight. But Juiz is like stepping on Victor's face. Not as sexy as that sounds. Just stepping on his face in a very casual, rough and tumble kind of way. Young Juiz there too. Okay. Oh, this is really okay. I'm gonna have to go landscape for this. Void crowning Juiz with Victor over Victor. That pun was not intended. Hey, nice to see you, Ref's Revenge. The shopping, I love whenever we get a glimpse. I feel like we've had 3 glimpses of that shopping trip, and it's amazing every time. I don't know, drinking. They're drinking. And I think when we got that drinking ranking in like volume 22, I think it was. I can't remember if I think Juice was on it, and she was like ridiculously high on like the drinking resistance meter. So yeah, I must have drunk a lot to get there. Juice and Victor doing watermelon smashing. Juice doing watermelon smashing, Gina moving the watermelon, and just having Victor. Oh, I love this. I love this. This is what I wanted. Fun memories. Fleeting moments of bliss amidst battle. But even though you shared these moments together, the old you decided to kill Miss Juice. Okay, now running into the issue where Julia and Luna have the same voice when I do it. Glitches have formed in this world. I will have people become the vessels for them. Oh! This is such a ridiculous callback. Like, is it Spoil who calls Undead a glitch? I think it's Spoil. Spoil calls Undead a glitch. And we haven't really addressed that in a very long time. I think that's the only time we've had that direct, like as if you're talking about a computer program kind of lingo. I will have people become the vessels for them. An original memory from before either of them became negators. Glitches? What are you talking about? Actually, who are you anyway? I love how that's Victor's reaction to seeing God. What are you talking about? And who are you? Whoa, they're shining. Rejoice. The fifth rule, who will later become a master rule. And this has been explained. I mean, this is kind of what I assumed. The rule was added and then later became a master rule. But I'm so glad this is directly addressed. Even if this is all we get, I'm glad Tozuka realised that was kind of a plot hole. Like, how can Juiz be on justice since the first loop if justice didn't become a master rule until the fifth loop? Has taken a fancy to you as the vessel of justice. Vessel? What are you talking about? So this is the beginning of negators. In several hours the world will be destroyed. And in the new world, the second game will start. If one of you sits in the first seat of that round table, then you will go directly to an Is this an American thing? Because I'm seeing like uninhabitable. Is habitable like herbs, where Americans for some reason don't pronounce the H? Because I absolutely would not write uninhabitable. Uninhabitable era in the world to come. Haha. That's awesome, Juiz. It's just like you said. Oh, you think it's a typo? Yeah, fair enough. That's awesome, Juiz. It's just like you said. Even if you die, you can be reborn. Yeah, that's great. That means we can see each other again. Oh. Okay, so is this canonically after that one conversation they had about reincarnation? Because Juiz's uniform isn't quite lining up, so maybe they had this conversation multiple times. Do you understand what this means? Do you understand what this means? Only one of you will be able to keep your body and memories. The other one will die. Yeah, I don't mind being the one dying. I'll come find you after you warp. Although it looks like I won't remember a thing after I die. After all, this one can't do a thing on her own. Ah, I can handle things on my own, so long as you're around. That's not the same as saying you can handle things... who's saying it? Yeah, Victor saying that's not the same thing as saying you can handle things on your own. You see there? That's why I'm gonna become undead and come pick you up. Hmm? My mouth said that on its own. Undead? You've both been selected, and they've manifested. Undead and Unjustice. I will see you again in 4.4 billion years. Undead and Unjustice. Okay, really interesting. I see chat's moving. I'm gonna wait until I've finished the chapter to read chat. Okay, that's why. So, I was wondering, why would he say that? Okay, Luna forced him, or Death forced him to say that? Okay. And then it's up ahead, I better move. Undead and Unjustice. Will this be enough to beat those monsters? Let's gather allies and build a team then. How about we call ourselves the Union? It's got un in it. Oh. Wish it would be perfect if it was the Onion. Oh well. English is not a fair language. So this is going to repeat 100 times? If you die, then it's all over, right? Oh, okay, I am not going to realise who is speaking between Victor and Juiz until I say the line, so, I'm just going to go neutral. Don't worry, I'll get stronger the next time. If you couldn't pull it off with a team this big, then it might just be... Not yet, we still need more allies. Let's just give up already, Juiz. No, I can't. Next time for sure. When the world changes, people change with it. That includes their looks and their values. Regardless, they resisted, accepted, and lived on. One fought for his sake, one fought for her sake. They both fought for the sake of the other. Oh, I love... Oh, you, me, and our allies helped weave this story together. So let's give it a happy ending, Victor. Sheesh. Talk about pathetic. I said I'd pick you up, not the other way around. Victor being younger, it is a nice look. I hope he doesn't... I mean, I guess Julia has the... We are getting into really weird territory in terms of age gaps. Where Julia has Juiz's memories at this point. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with her being shipped with a fully adult Victor, and this is a better move, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how to think of this. Because now that they are both physically a similar age, I guess maybe I'm okay with Victor-Julia shipping. So you wound up finding me, hey, partner. Yep. Let's hurry. I'm starting to vanish due to Death's ability. Oh? Oh, that reminds me. Unjustice still hasn't... Don't worry. Tragedies are all about perspective. Oh, okay. Ichiko, no. Don't hurt my girl. Holding the head, this is the end. Ooh, charging up a lightning-y soul blast. Shoot. If you hadn't stopped that attack, I would have finally been able to die. So it's Unjustice's fault I get to revive again, eh? I'd say this is a tragedy, wouldn't you? What? It's been a while, Soul. I'm really glad that you were the first Master Rule. It's because of you that we're connected through our souls. Let's put an end to this. To everything. Undead. Unjustice. Oh, that is a hype ending. Victor's got the Union pin on his collar. And I guess it's fully adult Victor now? Yeah, that torso is way too big for the little baby Vic we saw in the dream. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go back and look at chat then. Male wife Victor, let's go. Or Goopoo, I imagine that's a typo. Victor buried, mentions vessels. Yeah, he mentions vessels. I didn't remember much glitch talk before. I think it was just for one. Like, vessels have been brought up a bunch of times. Glitch, I think, has only been spoil. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Makes sense with some, like, burn not being master rules, so yeah. Yeah, so cute, yeah. Just checked for previous convos, chapter 45. None of Jui's or Victor's lines have speech bubbles there. Okay, so I guess it was never clear if they were saying what they were saying was already with the Union. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, great chapter. Like, I'm at the point where I need to start thinking of one of my top 10 chapters of the year, because that's going to be a thread. I'm going to make that thread. This is probably going to be up there. This is a great chapter. Some interesting lore details. So, like, we can, like, just based off what Victor was saying, like, you can see where the undead tragedy comes from. I can handle, what was it? Like, him promising, I'll come find you after the warp. After all this, one can't do a thing on her own. Like, that's clear. It's a little loose. But that is clearly his tragedy. I don't think... Oh my god, the reason Victor said that is because of injustice. I didn't even realize... Yeah, of course. It's not Luna, it's not death forcing him to speak, it's injustice. My two questions about that scene cancelled each other out. Okay, injustice made his mouth move. I get it. So, did injustice, like, cause him to awaken undead or something? I don't know. I guess it just made him say that thing that he wasn't planning to say. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is just filling holes. Like, weird questions, here they're being answered. Where did the name Union come from? How did Juiz become a vassal for a rule that didn't exist yet? At the end, though, when she uses injustice, I see a message there, refs. Yeah, I need to kind of piece that together as well. Yeah. So, if Soul landed that attack, it would have killed them. Which makes sense. So injustice stopped him from attacking, thus alive. A loose definition of tragedy, but hey, it's all about the interpretation, as we've mentioned. And then, what was I about to say? Yeah. Okay, so this confirmation, but like Victor... Okay, well, why would Victor have died is a good question. Why would Victor have died? Because, I mean, surely he still has undead because he's regenerating. But I guess this idea that maybe he'd locked himself away in Andy in a way that Soul would have been able to blow away, but now he's free. Yeah, I do wonder exactly what's going on with that specific line. How would he have been able to die? I guess maybe the soul connection? Like, we're connected through our souls. If you'd killed Julia, I would have died too. Maybe Julia had to go in to pull Victor out, otherwise he'd be stuck in there. Yeah, but okay, that might... Raph's Revenge asking, perhaps Soul would have eliminated his soul entirely. Very good question, very good point, and that would answer the power scaling debate of is Andy resistant to soul destruction. I would lean on yes. I'd lean on yes, that he could resist soul, at least after discovering the soul, that he could resist some kind of soul destruction, and therefore... Oh, that's a good question, though. Victor doesn't have the same soul perception Andy does. Maybe Victor could be weak to soul destruction, but Andy wouldn't. Either way, I was... Like, my first interpretation of that was he's passed on undead, like, to Andy, and he's, like, functioning as a predecessor. Oh, nice to see you, Reedster. He could also be referring to the piece of Andy Julia's holding currently... Yeah, that's a good point. Is there any chance we can see that? Okay, well, it's steaming in that first panel on, well, that second panel on page 16. Now, whether that is him disintegrating or him regenerating, you can't really know. I feel like Rap's Revenge asking if Victor's only temporary here. I feel like with how this is framed, there's no way he's going to be temporary. Like, you don't bring him back. Like, even when Andy came down from the sky during the Rip arc, it was, hey, immediately, first thing he said pretty much, hey, this is a clone, I'm only lasting for a minute. I don't think Tozuka would write it so that it looks like Victor's back, and then next week we find out he's only back for a few minutes. I feel like this has to be permanent, otherwise Tozuka would have warned us that it wasn't. Okay. Yeah, lots of questions though, but hey, if this chapter has taught us one thing, it's that the questions will be answered. Tozuka knows that people are asking, how was Juiz the vessel of justice when justice wasn't a master rule yet? Yeah, great chapter. If anyone else has any questions, now's probably the best time to post them. I'm just having another skim through the chapter to see if there's anything to really comment on. Yes, we got First Loop Lawman. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping we'd get a bit more than one room. Like, they've clearly survived a fight here. Actually, yeah, how did the first game end? Like, what was the ending? Because there's clearly been a fight in this room. Like, pillars are sliced up, the roof is gone. So, but clearly the objective wasn't we win when we loop to a new world, because that hasn't happened yet. Unless it was that objective, and instead of going to the moon, Luna comes to them. Maybe that's it. I think we'll at least get it more when Fuko faces Luna too. Yeah, I mean, getting one room and learning how the glitches exist. Like, Luna makes it sound like nobody even created negators. Negators just exist on their own, which is a really interesting concept. Glitches have formed. Would Luna lie? Is a good question. Would Luna make it sound like it's not her doing? I mean, she is known to hide her objectives, so maybe. But also, would she hide... Like, I don't see why she wouldn't take credit for... Hey, yeah, I made negators. You will continue to resist God and his rules, so use my negation ability I created. Like, that feels like an easy thing for her to say. I always wondered when negators fit into the artifact Luna, Yuma, Sun dynamic. Yeah. I think I remember there used to be theories there might be a third god. A little bit late for that at this point. Yeah, I liked the idea that, like, negators were invented by humans, but there's not really a way to do that. Especially when there's first generation negators, which seem to be chosen by the rule, which is interesting. The rule chooses the first generation negator, which means everyone we know either was chosen by people or chosen by a rule. Like, do you think Yuma Fade picked Feng? Yeah, I wonder. But, yeah, that is interesting. If you're familiar with the Drork show, they've made a prediction that is all a video game under God's design. Yeah, I watch the Drork streams. Not quite caught up. I've got to finish their last one, going through the VOD. If anybody here hasn't watched the Drork streams, the Drork show on Twitch, he does have a YouTube... Well, it's a mother and son pair. They also have a YouTube channel that's... It's a bit further behind. I always just watch the VODs, and then I just put the YouTube video on when it comes out in the background, because I've already watched it. But I want to give the... even if you watch the streams, I'd say put the YouTube video on in the background, just so it helps it in the algorithm. That's what I do. But yeah, I always watch it on Sunday or Monday. after it comes out. But yeah. The video game thing I feel like it's been clear for a while, like talking about glitches, talking about things like that. I think the Drork Show discussion's going a really interesting direction with like developing it. But yeah, I've had that in my mind for a while. Yeah, I wonder why Def took an interest in Victor, if so. Yeah, I guess maybe because his whole thing was not wanting to was accepting Def. Def accepted him, maybe. Yeah, really interesting. But if that's it for questions, I think I will leave it there. This is a brilliant chapter, probably going in my top 10 of the year. I think we've got like 5, maybe 4 to 6 chapters left this year, so high competition. Let's strap in for the end of the year. To think that at some point some of us were worried that we might not make it to the end of the year. But yeah, good times, good chapters. So thank you everyone for coming. There's been a great stream. Love all the questions and discussion. I will see you guys at the same time next week. Have a good one. And yeah, maybe check out my thread when I drop that on Twitter later. Goodbye.